There were a small number of senior people who'd put in an inordinate amount of work in, and they did receive an award from the chair, myself, and on behalf of the board. They were a Cartier watch of about a value of $3,000 each.
4 Cartier watches, presented as an example of fat cat largesse and what is known in politics as bad optics. 6 months on, the outrage they provoked from the Prime Minister on the day seemed curiously out of whack with the scandals that have engulfed his government since.
I was appalled. It's disgraceful. And it's not on. The Chief Executive wishes to stand aside. Well, not wishes to stand aside, she's been instructed to stand aside. And if she doesn't wish to do that, Mr Speaker, she can go.
Yes, the Prime Ministerial outrage was so high it was on the needles in the strawberry scale. But there were just 2 problems with all the outrage. The first was the backstory about the Cartier watches. The second was that the reputation of one of Australia's most successful businesswomen, Christine Holgate, was destroyed in a few minutes of outrage that has subsequently come to look badly misplaced. Angela Cramp runs 2 post offices in Wollongong. She is also one of thousands of local post office, or LPO operators, who are outraged at Christine Holgate's treatment.
She convinced 3 major banks and up to 70 minor banks, second-tier lenders, to actually invest in the LPO network and contribute $220 million worth of revenue over a 5-year period. It changed our payments, it paid our staff. It was groundbreaking.
The 4 Australia Post executives who scored the Cartier watches had locked in a deal which saved around 3,000 community post offices across Australia.
It is just atrocious. I want her reinstated.
Holgate ultimately left Australia Post in hotly contested circumstances and has kept her counsel until now. But in an explosive 154-page submission to a Senate inquiry, the businesswoman has bluntly stated that Australia Post's chairman, Lucio Di Bartolomeo, has lied to the Senate and that she was thrown under the bus by both Australia Post and the Morrison government.
To be clear, the purchase of the 4 watches as a reward for the efforts of executives who delivered the pivotal Bank at Post deal was legal, within Australia Post policies, within my own signing authority limits, approved by the previous chairman, expensed appropriately and signed off by auditors and the CFO. It was then found to be legal by the review, which was clearly intended to find it otherwise. Yet somehow I was forced out of my job over it.
But also to reflect
Holgate says she was stood down unlawfully on October 22, but that after, quote, the 10 most difficult and disappointing days of her career, the former Blackmores chief executive offered to resign, but did not actually do so. Without responding to Holgate, Australia Post announced within hours that she had resigned. Her salary and emails were cut off. The matter is still unresolved. She says Mr Di Bartolomeo told the Senate she had agreed to stand down without evidence to substantiate this and despite considerable evidence that she did not agree to stand down. Holgate documents at length how she was abandoned by the 2 ministers responsible for Australia Post, Communications Minister Paul Fletcher and Finance Minister Simon Birmingham. But it is worth remembering who first claimed public credit for sacking her.
Chief Executive wishes to stand aside. Well, not wishes to stand aside, she's been instructed to stand aside. And if she doesn't wish to do that, Mr Speaker, she can go.
By today, though, it seemed the Prime Minister was, as is so often the case, not the man responsible.
This is a matter now that's substantively between Ms Holgate and Australia Post, and that's where I note that the predominance of her comments have been directed. Ms Holgate decided to leave Australia Post. That's just a matter of record.
It's quite clear to anybody watching on that there are 2 sets of rules. One for the boys' club and one for women in politics. And sadly, what we see is that Ms Holgate was victim of that.
Hi, I'm Lee Sales. Thanks for watching this story. If you'd like to watch more of 7:30's stories, they are on the left of your screen. And tap on the button below to subscribe and get the latest from ABC News.